Hi. As I say every episode, it's been a while. To be completely transparent, I have been in the process of breaking up with an emotionally abusive and narcissistic partner, which means that unfortunately it's been a little hard for me to make content. But I'm feeling better. Shout out to my friends, my family, my therapist, and Prozac. But because I am back and it feels good to be back, we want to talk about a little game called Pokemon. Longtime viewers of the show know that I am a huge Pokemon fan. Started playing with Red and Blue when I was a child and kept playing, except for a small break after Ruby Sapphire. Uh, then came right back with Platinum, and now my Pokemon collection contains at least one game representing every single region slash iteration of Pokemon. So last week, a little game came out under the franchise title Pokemon Scarlet and then Pokemon Violet. Let's talk about it because I've been playing it and I have some thoughts because of course I do. So, I wasn't crazy about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and I definitely wasn't crazy about Legends Arceus. Let me explain. The game is ambitious. I think there's a lot of cool things about it, but I wasn't really crazy about the open world mechanic. I felt like it was really easy for me to get lost, like emotionally and like figuratively in the game. For more thoughts on that, go watch my video on Pokemon Legends Arceus. And anytime I talked about Galar, when I talked about uh, Pokemon Sword and Shield, because then you had a game which had the wild area with a very similar problem in which I would just get lost. If you give me a vast expanse to just run around, catch things, and pick up items, I will become a cave troll, and that's all I'll do. I will shun every other task, which is why I like the more linear storytelling of most Pokemon games. It's obvious that Legends Arceus was basically a giant beta test for Scarlet Violet because Scarlet Violet promised to be this open world, overarching, you pick your path game. Mild spoilers ahead. It's fine. It's fine. Um, I can't say it's good. Let's front load with some of the things I do like. So far, from what I've seen story wise, it's a good story. It's not great. I do hate that our characters gotten younger again, that we're back in school. I did like how in some of the games our characters were a little bit older. They were obviously like older teens. Uh, Obviously, Game Freak and Nintendo are never going to give us a game where you can like play as an adult because Pokemon is a game that lives in two worlds where it's played by children and played by depressed American 30 somethings. So, totally get why they're never going to give us a game where like you can be like a 30 something and just running around beating up children and their pets. Um but I do kind of dislike the move of going into school. We're front loading into positive. Positive. Okay, story's fine. Major positive for me, every gym leader I've come in contact with, I love. I love their designs, I love their stories, I love the Pokemon that they have. Some of the gym tests are a little bit stupid, but again, this game exists in two worlds where it is also for children. And it's obviously for them. It's not for me. That's fine. I still think they're kind of fun. Shout out to Larry. His name is literally Larry. He's a normal type gym leader and he is a salary man and he is obviously a DILF and I appreciate him. Uh, there are some cool battle mechanics. The Terrastalize mechanic, it's Mega Evolution. It's fine. It's Mega Evolution, but we're gonna put a pin in that for now. So far, most of the Paldean Pokemon that I've encountered have been either very, very dumb or absolutely perfect. And I say that because I am the kind of person who likes very dumb Pokemon. There's a reason why, Unova and Sinnoh are some of my favorite regions. It's because they have objectively dumb Pokemon. There's a Pokemon that's literally a pile of trash. His name is Trubbish, and he's great. But I like objectively dumb Pokemon, and Paldea is filled to the brim with objectively dumb Pokemon that I would commit murder for. So far, shout out to Tandem Mouse, which is just a married mouse couple that evolves into Mousehold, and they get one or two children. That's the exact kind of dumb that's made for me. Fido, which is an enchanted croissant loaf dog that evolves into Doxbun. Again, this is stupid. That is made for me. It's whimsical, it's perfect, and I love it. Also, Paldea, don't you stop with those Pokedex entries. I'm a person who obsesses over Pokedex entries. I'd love to know about what Tinkaton and Corviknight have going on, where apparently they're just knocking Corviknights out of the goddamn sky. Tell me more about that. But there's a lot of good that's going on in this game. I wish that they had released a finished game. Oh boy, this game is glitchy. And not in a charming way, not in a cute way, not in a way that any of us can write off. It's glitchy. This is an unfinished game. This is a Fallout 76 level unfinished game. I have fallen through so many maps. I glitched off of a cliff and fell into the ocean. I have had Pokemon clip through my battles. I have clipped through battles. I've had animations just give up, grass texture, fail, and die. This game isn't done. And it is very distracting. It's not noticeable. It's not unnoticeable. It's very noticeable. And it's not charming, and it's not cute. And I hate that this game sold 10 million units in 3 days. Because the lesson that Nintendo and Game Freak have learned is they can give us literal shit and we will continue to eat it up. And I was part of that problem. And I remain part of that problem. It's just like every major company, they've learned now that the expectations are on the floor. They can give us shit and we will still eat it. I hate that that's the lesson that they learned. Again, I fully acknowledge that I'm part of the problem. But oh boy, let's also talk about some game mechanics. Because remember how I said I have some opinions about Terastalize. Let's talk about Azurill. Azumarill, whatever Meryl's evolution is. No, I don't have time to research it. So I caught a little baby, whatever baby version of Meryl. Look, it's been a long few weeks. Raise that all the way up to Final Evo. It's a dual type. It's water fairy. Its Terra type, the one that it terastalizes in, is fairy, which makes it a useless water type. So because of its terastalized form, it wasn't really a dual type, it's a single type, and it ended up just failing at both. There's an interesting mechanic in the game where anytime you're prompted to teach a Pokemon another move, you can ask the Pokemon for advice. I mean, I do try. I never listen, but I do try. And it felt like you could feel that existential crisis inside that dumb rabbit every single time. It didn't know what it was. It didn't know if it was a fairy type, if it was a water type, or what it was supposed to be. It just knew that it was shitty at being both. I did eventually swap it out for another Pokemon, and immediately my adventure got better. I also want to say, due to Terra types and Pokemon, remember how I said there's a lot of Pokemon that are dumb? They're dumb because they're not good. A lot of Pokemon have very, very confusing types. A lot of them have very, very confusing double typings. And a lot of them are just obvious retreads of other Pokemon, including the tumbleweed, Bramblin, that just fucking chases you. That's right, it chases you. I told this to a friend of mine who isn't a Pokemon master but has played Pokemon, and she's like, "Yeah, that's horrible. It is. You're correct. But that's just a Delmise. It's a crappy Delmise. to Delmice that can chase you at velocity. uh, but it created this weird existential crisis in me that I didn't know what my team was. Every team I've built in Pokemon is obviously a team built by me. You could tell if I listed off all of my teams, you'd be like, yup, each one of those checks. I don't really feel like my team has done that yet. I'm about halfway through the game as far as one of the tracks goes. Put a pin in that for later. And I still don't feel like my team is final. And yes, teams change and evolve. They're supposed to. But I look at most of my team and I don't know what any of them are doing or why they're here or what their purpose should be. Except for my Talonflame, who was amazing and is named Pepper. That is the GOAT. I want to talk about two more things. And one that is open world. Now, remember how I said I wasn't crazy about this game being open world? Spoiler alert, it's not. It's really not. They say that you can take any individual path that you can. No, not really. You've at minimum really need to do the Titan path and Victory Road, usually in tandem. That's not a spoiler. I just wish it was something someone told me sooner. You can completely ignore the Team Star path and nothing matters, but at minimum, you need to do the Titan path and the Victory Road path. That is not optional as the game espoused. And it also definitely adds bulk to the game that I don't think that they were expecting it to need. Because yeah, if I could just blitz through gym leaders, I'm already nearly done. But then don't call this game open world and say that I have a bunch of choices when I really don't. Because I need the Titan Pokemon to achieve something, and I also need the gym badges to achieve something, and Team Star is just fucking there. I also want to talk about just how big Pokemon is. Pokemon is hell at this point. This is Generation 9. This has been going on for over 25 years. Pokemon is so far removed from what it was when I was a kid. And maybe that's okay. I felt tremendous guilt after wrapping up Ultra Sun and Moon because I hated it and then never picking it back up. I haven't even finished Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl or Pokemon Legends Arceus. And keep in mind, Sinnoh was the gym that got me back into Pokemon. I don't dislike Sinnoh. I'm not a Sinnoh hater. I couldn't finish that game. I couldn't finish Legends Arceus. I have no intention of. I won't. The games are not what they used to be. Pokemon used to be this bankable good choice. And now I don't know if it is anymore. And that's existentially damaging in a way that I wasn't expecting. This year, as I've gone through this horrible breakup with a crappy partner, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I'm also very aware that despite this very round face and still very black hair, I'm getting older. The things that I did when I was a child don't hit the same. And maybe when I finish up Paldea, I don't know what's ahead of me in the Pokemon franchise. Will I love my little weed cat for the rest of my life? Yes. Will I love that Quaxley evolves into a literal drag queen? Sure. Is Fuecoco still the largest disappointment that I've ever seen in my entire life? Also, yes. But I don't know what Pokemon has in store for me going forward. There's a lot of Paldea that I wish that I loved more. But I also wish they had just finished the damn game.